Alright guys, what's up? It's your Spiderwolf back for another Soul Leveling Arise video. So we have our new girl finally in the game, Seorin. She's finally available to be summonable. I did do a little bit of grinding and also I was kind of busy today, so when I'm recording this for myself it's a bit later, but when this gets uploaded it'll hopefully be a day later. Hopefully it won't be too long when I upload this. But yeah, we have Seorin here. We're going to be using pulse for her. We also have a raid up for Alicia. As a little bit of a heads up though guys, I would highly recommend to not summon for Alicia. Also guys, I would really appreciate if you guys could drop a like, comment, subscribe. It would really help me out trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year if possible. I know it's kind of a long shot from where we are right now, but hey, all the more support would greatly appreciate it. But with that being said, let's get on to the video. But I think Seorin's worth picking up at least one copy because we're going to be getting our actual anniversary character very soon, and she looks to be water and also probably a new DPS. So just so you know, just keep that in mind guys, you know, that we will be getting another character very soon that will be the anniversary character, kind of like Thomas for the water team. And also, if you guys are wondering, on the raid up now, we do now have Kanae. She's now available to be added to the raid up here. Now I would add her to mine, but as you guys can see here, you know, I got some other characters here. Now for me, I want to get one more dupe on Isla here, and then I'll probably swap in either Essel or Kanae, and then Charlotte is almost fully like A10, so once she's A10, then I'll go ahead and swap her out. So that's kind of where I'm going with my mentality of how I want to do this. And then of course Moon Shadow Daggers, because might as well try to get it to A10 because it's the next best weapon for me to get to max, because I do already have one at max loop. But yeah, also actually, you know what? We'll do our summons and then I'll showcase some of the new content that did get added if you guys are interested in that. But if you guys are interested in summons, let's get right to it. I did grind a little bit though, because I kind of blasted a lot of summons because I got very unlucky on Go to Ryuji. Hopefully we at least get our girl Seorin here very early. Would be very nice if I could get her early here, because I don't have like no summons currently. I have a very minimal amount of currency. Luckily I still have a good amount of summons from doing like story mode and hard mode and reverse stages and stuff like that. But ideally it would be kind of nice to get her early so I don't have to grind it later. If I most likely though, depending on how things go, I may or may not, oh, you know, hopefully we get her here, right? But if we sadly don't get Seorin here, I may or may not record my, you know, summons of grinding the game later on, and then if I get her from that. But I don't know, we'll see. If at the very least, if I don't do that, then you guys can just probably like, or you guys will see at the very least whenever I do my next Soul Leveling Rise video, if I, you know, did pull her or not on my account. Or maybe I'll make a community post. We'll see. So far, with how every other banner seems to go in this damn game for me, 9 times out of 10, it's a very little pity. But it looks like we may have gone a little bit early here. We at least finally got an SSR, so that's good. Hopefully it's Seorin, because I really don't have any more summons to use right now. And I can really only go for one copy currently. So I just want to go for my one copy Seorin. Hopefully get Seorin. And then I'm probably just going to be saving for our anniversary character, which if you guys are curious of who that is, it's Cha. It looks like we're going to be getting another Cha, who's specifically water, and high probability that she may be defense scaling. So just keep that in mind, guys.
I know you've been waiting.
Oh, that's her, right? We get Seorin? Oh, let's go. We won. Okay, cool. We got Seorin.
You ready to ride?
I actually don't know if I lost 50 last time with Go to Ryuji, but hey, we got Seorin. Got exactly what we wanted. All right, that's pretty cool. What's kind of funny too is if any gets to play Girls from Light 2, she kind of does the same thing as Clue K, literally riding a motorcycle, which is kind of funny. But all right, we finally got her. We have a decent amount of pulse left over, so it's not too bad. Also while we're here, might as well do some free summons, right? Got, you know, two tendrils here. Might as well see if we get anything good maybe with these. You know, because why not, right? Why not? I did get these from doing the story mode, so yeah, didn't get anything good, but that's fine. And then we'll do one more here as well, just because why not? We're already here, right? All right. Well, I would show you guys what gear set to run on here, but since there's a new gear set in the game now, it's going to be more difficult to figure out what exactly to run on Seorin here, right? Because there's a lot more options. But what I assume would be a good option as for gear, for the time being, I'm assuming most people are going to probably have gear. But yeah, this Chaotic Desire set is what I'm assuming is going to be the next best set to be running on our break characters. Which of course you guys have to do a lot of great gear farming just to get that, which kind of sucks a little bit. But yeah, I assume that's going to be the best set for even the game recommends it. I think we can actually go see what it does. But if you guys did see the live stream, it did really mention what it does basically. But if you go into here, and then let's just scroll over. I think it's this one, right? Yeah. So basically, it's like just like greed, just like all that set basically, where it has 8 pieces basically. So 4, or I guess we'll start at 2, right? Basically, when attack deals break damage, it triggers the desire effect, and the desire basically increases the user's elemental damage by 0.5%, second for 20 times, and then a cooldown of 1.5 seconds, but it's permanent, so it's pretty good. Then we have 4 pieces. Now you get 20 times, or when desire is stacked 20 times, it becomes enhanced desire, and once you have enhanced desire, now you're getting increased the damage of user skills with break effect by 30%, which is really good for Seorin because she's a break character, and increases the user's and team elemental damage for 20%, which is also quite nice. Basically, team-wide buff, right? Of course, for any enemy weak to whatever element, right? If you have elemental advantage for damage there, and with the whole 8-piece set, when attacking enemies that are not or that are an elemental weakness, increase the user's break effectiveness by 30%. So basically, she has more break damage, which is very nice. And then instead of enhanced desire, now she's getting chaotic desire. And basically what chaotic desire does, increases the damage of the user's skill with a break effect by 50%. So basically Seiron's going to be doing even more damage, and then you're also going to increase boost to the elemental damage as well. So overall, very good buffs, and as you guys can see, clearly seems to be better. A new version of greed, right? Like a better version of it. Yeah, literally you're getting a bigger elemental weakness. You do lose out on crit hit damage and crit rate, but to be honest, the buffs from this new set are just way better. And then we of course we have some other ones here, basically kind of like a new version of greed, blessing, and then what was the other one? Burning, right? Basically a new version of those, right? So yeah, and then I think this last one's supposed to be more DPS, right? Yeah, this new wish effect increases attack and defense. There was a new defense set though, which is what people were saying may be good for well, of course it's gonna be good on Thomas, but it may also be good on Shaw, the new one's coming out. But this is good, looks like it's gonna be the new best DPS set right here, basically. This one right here, this chaotic set, because when the user uses their ultimate skill, it grants a wish effect, and then both the user and teammates get an attack buff basically, and then more buffs basically to attack defense. All very nice there. And then was it the skills MP consumption rate is increased by 20%, but cooldown of basic skills decrease, which is actually quite useful. So yeah, so I think this is gonna probably be like, I think most people I think the idea now is to basically move on from burning, move on from greed, move on from blessing, and then literally just swap into these new sets and just fill in those roles. I'm assuming it's probably what's gonna be for a decent amount of characters, but of course there's probably gonna be some characters that won't necessarily be the issue, where they can still run the old sets, and the old sets may still be better. Of course, with that we also have these new other it was like artifact pieces, I forgot they're called, accessories, I guess. Yeah, accessories, right? Which of course also tie into the whole A piece, right? But then there's actually some new ones, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's this one right here that increases the damage of the user's skills with a break effect, increases by 30%, and the skill damage increases at 60%, which is actually very massive. Now, we'll have to do a bit of mix matching to see whether 8 pieces for some characters are better, or whether or not doing a 4-piece and then doing the 4-piece of this, right? Like 4 and 4 is better. I think it probably depends, right? Like you probably have one character that would maybe run like the full 8-piece, and then another character that would be running the 4 and 4, right? Just depending on what they do. And we have the other one here for tagging in, increases the attack increase, and then I'm pretty sure there's a defense increase set as well here. I don't know which one it was, but I remember I saw there was like a set that's increasing like your defense by quite a bit. Maybe we were already past it, but that's basically some of the new stuff we got going on there. So I like grinding what to get it back to. I think there's some other new pieces of content too, like if you're in a guild, right? There's the whole new guild thing going on here. And then as far as the events go, hold on, we don't have anything too crazy for the events here. I accidentally clicked this. But yeah, we don't have anything too crazy for events, just the usual, like, oh, I guess my bad, we do have this drop point event, which is actually quite huge here. You get a free, okay, so you get a free to play weapon here. Okay, I actually didn't know this was a thing. This is gonna be here for about a month though, which is pretty big. You get some decent rewards here from tier 1. You get tier 2, just more options to get the free to play weapon basically. This material is kind of nice though, so there's some decent rewards, nothing too crazy though. And then we have some of the reward missions here, weapon growth as well. We also have this daily thing, so make sure you guys get these to get free points for that, for those basically free rewards. And then we have this artifact modification, which if I remember correctly, the way this works is that it takes a max level of 20 plus gear, and then you're able to re-roll not the subsets but like the rolls. So say like you got 3 rolls into like flat attack or something, right? Then you could use this to re-roll those rolls, and then maybe you'll get like those 3 on like the crit damage substat that you had instead of the flat defense or flat attack. So that's what that's for. I may use it, we'll see. But that's, as you know, if you have anything like a roll, like if a artifact rolled pretty badly or gear rolled pretty badly, you basically would want to use that to help you, get better rolls. So on something more useful. This might be some other stuff I'm missing out on. With that being said, though, I'll probably head on back, or I'll gear up my my girl Seorin, and then I'll catch up with you guys back in a little bit. So that being said, I'll see you in a bit. All right, guys. So I did a little bit of I guess a little bit of grinding. I not grinding, but I leveled her up a bit. So this is what I cooking up, level 7, 8 on the, or level 7 on the skills basically, except the ultimate I went up to like level 8 here, nothing too crazy. Gear, very not optimal. As you can see, I don't really have full greed here, which kind of blows a little bit. But at the same time, this isn't going to be her main set at all. Clearly, her main set's probably going to be this new chaotic desire. And then I'd assume overall long term it's going to be better to run this destructive instinct set. I think this one's going to be the better one to go for. This is the one that basically does the increased break effect and then also increased skill damage basically. And then once of course she gets more dupes, she's going to be doing like a lot more damage with that set because of all the stuff she gets from her dupes, right? Like more damage, providing more buffs for the team, a whole bunch of really good stuff. Like I think a good stopping point, if you do have a lot of summons, like which I don't, but if you did have a lot of summons and you were interested in wondering like where's a good stopping point for her, I'd say dupe 1's pretty good. Dupe 2 doesn't sound too bad. I think dupe 3 is probably a safe bet to stop, or if you want dupe 1's not too bad either, but I think dupe 3 is probably around where it'd be okay to stop. Now generally, right, at this point in the game you want to get full dupes, especially because full like max dupes basically makes her to where she does like a fuck ton more damage, like 100% crit rate, more crit damage, more damage overall. So that's very good. But I think if you kind of want to spend a little bit for this character, because she's pretty good overall, I think she's going to be a great character long term in my opinion. I'd say a good stopping point would be anywhere between 1 to 3 dupes, because at 1 dupe you're basically getting all these nice buffs here. You're basically getting more break here, more damage essentially, which is very nice. And then dupe 2 is that Ice Shard Magnum or Glacier Spin, now fire 4 missiles at once. This one seems like an okay one. I actually don't know how good this one's going to be, but I assume it's going to help out do this potentially could be like a lot more damage, right? I'd imagine. And then the reason I say dupe 3 might be a good stopping point is because when the user enters the stage, it activates the Black Tea effect on the entire team, and basically what that does is that it increases your defense by 20%, max HP by 20%, and you recover your MP by 1.5 every 5 seconds. Infinite. So this is like immediate like free buff, and there's a good chance that Cha coming out maybe defense HP or defense scaling, or potentially just like Seorin here, maybe dual or whatever, right? So there's a chance that may be the case, but I think dupe 3 is like just overall like very nice stopping point. And dupe 4 is pretty good, right? Because it increases the water teams, or it says the water team members the water damage increases by 10%, second to 3 times, so that's 30% damage for every water team member active team. So basically a 30% water damage buff if you're running at least 3 water characters on the team for most content, which I'd assume that'd probably be the case you'd be doing, right? It'd be kind of weird if you weren't doing that with this character. But yeah, I mean, as nice as 30% damage buff is for the water team, I think dupe 3 is just more valuable. At the very least, if you're interested in like, oh, how far would I want to push, right? I'd say dupe 3 is a really good stopping point. But of course, right, getting max dupes would be the best case scenario, or would be better, right? I tried doing that for Go to Ryuji. As you guys can see, that didn't end too well for me. I only have about 3 dupes. It did not go too well for me, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. I need to do a lot more gear farming though to get those new artifact sets and hopefully get new pieces. So that kind of sucks a little bit. Back into the grinding hell of needing all these new artifacts. So that kind of sucks, but at the same time, gotta keep the grind up. And then as for cores, sadly, like I said, I don't do that much cores content WBL as much as I should for cores. I just kind of slapped on whatever. But basically, anything that would buff for HP, damage increase, or crit damage buff is what you would preferably want to go for. And then I don't really know all the sets, like what they do, so I wouldn't really have a good recommendation as to what you could give her. But I'd say like any of these seem like decent. Like this attack one like might be like an okay option, but I don't think this is the one you probably want to go for. I'd imagine like one of the newer sets might be better, or maybe this one where your crit damage gets buffed. This one might not be too bad. I mean, hey, we could even take a look at it right now, right, to see the other sets here, right? So we go to the new one here. So we can see here, right? Yeah, we can see it through here. So we have this one, right? Increases defense by 5%. So this one might not be too bad. It's increased critical hit damage of core attacks by 12%. I don't know if this one's gonna be that useful on her because she is, you know, her damage is coming from skills. The increase in defense might be pretty useful, but then again, right, she wants more HP, so that's not too crazy. This increases attacks. So this one's kind of whatever. So yeah, these might not be too crazy for her, but you can maybe roll some stuff in there, and it might not be too bad. And then we go back to Baron over here for the usual ones, right? I'd say then this one might be the more useful one to go for as the main one, because this was not too bad for like just attack percent, but at the same time she's scaling off of HP, right? So just something to keep in mind there with that. Oh, also they added a new thing here where, yeah, you get these packs where you can kind of get one of these guaranteed here. So you get one of these, ultimate skill, cover your you get a shield, you recover your MP, you get damage reduction, basic attack. Yeah, so they added this, which is actually quite nice. So it's gonna make it a lot more worthwhile to do this content now. So I may actually start doing this a bit more. So basically you do 3, 6, 9, and then every 3 turns afterwards you get more. You get these boxes which basically let you choose whatever the heck you want. The interesting thing though is that it lets you choose from even the one from Deimos. So if you really wanted to, I assume you can just farm Baron. Like if you can only do Baron, I'd assume you could probably just farm Baron here, do the clears, and then start grinding your way towards these if you really needed any of these, right? And you don't need to do Deimos if you don't want to. Something interesting that I just saw right now that from going in, which I think is quite interesting actually. Quite interesting. Granted, you do need to do some stuff in Deimos, right, for this other material here, but you know, it is what it is. The reason I thought it's interesting though is because they also have one here for gear, which I think I may have covered, but I may not. Basically, if you do up to 45, you get 3 of these boxes, which lets you choose any gear. That includes the new sets. So this will help out a lot more actually. So that's very nice actually. It helps you, you know, get whatever you want. Just make sure you blast all these keys until they're basically nothing every single day, right? And then every 15 times you get another one of these boxes, so that's quite nice too, right? So the bare minimum, you just need to get up to 45 per week and you're fine, because this resets like every week basically. This resets every week. So basically every time you hit 45, you get 3 of these, which is very nice. And then once you get past 60, every 15 times you get 1 of these. So definitely gonna help out with gear. Since it is only 3, you won't be able to get the full 4 pieces right away. Plus, if the substats are kind of garbage, that kind of sucks too. But at least it'll help, you know, more people, especially like me, to be able to get the gear you want. So that also means you will have to grind this out a lot more and actually do all your runs. But you know, it's fine, right? And at the same time, you can still get the new pieces anyways, right? You can still roll them like from just grinding this out, and then it also add more to your series. Sadly, my combat power is a little bit weak, so I can't do these harder ones at the moment. Now if I play manually I might be able to, but at least auto stuck around here, so I like to do auto myself. But yeah, so you know, you can also just grind them out, so there's a chance you'll probably also get some pieces, hopefully good ones, right, from that. And then there's one thing else I wanted to mention real quick as well, was this new pass here. So basically, if you guys were watching the live stream, you know there's a pass for people wondering, oh, is this like pay to win only? Is it free to play? Possibly, like the top part. Yes, this one is free to play, at least for the top part. And you can basically choose whatever materials you want. So if you want more shadow stuff, you can go for the shadow pass, which is what I went for. Or if you're interested in maybe like if you're a new player, right, and you're more interested in getting runes or blessing stones, there's options for those too. So basically it gets you the materials to craft these, which is not this menu. I think it should be this menu, I think. If we go down a little bit, also yeah, there's also this new material which basically from also gear grinding, you can drop these materials here from instant dungeons, and this will basically take any level 75 or higher gear up to a level 100 if that's something you guys are interested in. If you guys don't want to farm the new sets, but the new sets are also kind of better from what it looks like in my opinion. But I was going onto beforehand was that with those free to play battle or the new battle pass, you can choose to grab material to craft skill runes, which oh yeah, here we go. This is what I was looking for. I was like so confused because the menu is like completely different. Yeah, this material here. So basically you can choose one for blessing stones, which will get you this material here, and then you can basically do the battle pass and then basically, you know, which material, and then same thing for rune fragments, and then I think there's like another 1 or 2 for some other stuff, but I don't remember exactly what those were. But basically it's just overall just general like very nice resources. And then I think if I'm forgetting one more thing here. Of course, also, yeah, if you did want these other ones down here, you would have to buy the battle pass, but yeah, there's that one. All right, but with that being said though, guys, I hope that helps you guys out, you know, and I hope you guys did enjoy the summons, you know. Summons were kind of, you know, whatever, you know. This game's kind of like a Hoyoverse game, at least lately has been kind of like that for me, where I kind of don't really expect to get, or I guess actually PGR more, like where I don't really expect to get a character that's like featured until like somewhere between 70 to 80 pulls, so it just kind of makes it a little anticlimactic. Though with this game there is a chance where that's a lot higher, right, that you may potentially get a character out earlier, right. PGR is more of the issue where like you probably won't see the character until you literally get pity, but you know, it is what it is. But if you guys are summoning, hopefully you guys do get really lucky, or you guys are able to at least grab one Seorin, because I think she's very worthwhile. My new she's gonna be here for 27 days. I think we should be getting our anniversary character somewhere before Seorin leaves. Like I'm pretty sure we should be seeing Cha in maybe like another 2 weeks or something like that. I'd imagine is when we will be seeing Cha. So if you guys are still interested in pulling for Seorin, or if you guys maybe want to wait a little bit to pull for Cha first and then go for Seorin, I'd assume Seorin will probably be here before, you know, Cha leaves, right? Or before or Cha will make it before Seorin leaves, I guess I should be saying, right? It's like she's here for like a whole month, right? Just like Essel was. So you guys got plenty of time to decide if you really want to summon her, but I think she's really worthwhile. She completely replaces our old water breaker, Xiao here, right? She, you know, she used to be our water breaker, but now she's completely you know, power crept now by a much better character who breaks and does a lot of damage. Very similar to Goto Ryuji, actually. Very similar, if not better, low-key. But I think she's better more so because the fact that you know, one of her dupes literally says that in WBL, is it I forget which dupe it was. Is it dupe 1? Yeah, or this is a workshop of Brilliant Light, right? But I think this may also apply just generally, right, to one of her skills.
I was distracted.
No? Or is it only WBL? Oh yeah, so yeah, if anything, you might getting one dupe might actually be really worth it, because you get these new buffs here, which also include you know, buffing you in WBL, which our girl Seorin here is clearly going to be really good for the upcoming WBL if we do get an, or which, you know, I'm assuming we're going to get a new one soon, which is going to probably be very good for with a brand new water Cha. So very excited for that. We'll see how things go, but with that being said, I will be heading out now. This video is a little bit long. If anything else comes up, I may make a video for it, we'll see, but otherwise it'll probably just be whenever a new patch drops and whenever a new character drops. That's probably whenever I'll make a new video for this game, because I'm not really a math guy. I don't really, you know, sit down and want to do grinding the numbers out and see like what's necessarily better. I just kind of go off like face value, what my experiences and what my opinions are as to what, you know, something, you know, how you should maybe build a character, or how I feel about things, right? Like for Cha, like, or not for Cha, for Seorin, right? Sorry, I'm dragging this out a little bit, but for Seorin, right, like, looking at this, right, like the game even recommends this new chaotic set, and looking at it, right, it clearly is just a better version of Burning Greed here, right? Clearly it's just a better version of Burning Greed, minus the fact that you do lose out on some crit rate or damage, but it's not even that big of a deal because you're getting so much more bigger buffs, right? And then the interesting thing is that for the accessories here, it's recommending this other set, which makes a lot of sense because Seorin here does a lot of damage. And she's a good breaker. And what does this for our accessory set do? Boost your break damage even more and boost your skill damage even more, which is something that Seorin's going to be doing quite a lot. So clearly for this character, it would make more sense for her to be doing a 4 piece rather than a full 8 piece. And then, but I assume, right, there may be some other characters where you may want to only go for the 8 piece, right? But for most content creators, from what I've seen, like for like how they build the characters, for most occasions you probably would want to run just like a 4 and then not really an 8 piece anymore, But at the same time, right, it depends on what content you do. Some content you may want to run a full 8-piece of either Burning Greed, but now of course you want to run the new set, which is the Chaotic Desire. So maybe you do want to run 8-piece, but at the very least, I would say for most general content, and heck, maybe even WBL, you'd probably be safe with just doing the 4-piece Chaotic, and then doing 4-piece of the other new artifact or accessory set. This is Destructive Instinct set, because it's very good for Soren. We'll see how the other sets come along though for the buff for the damage dealing characters. But there was like a defense set which I can't find. I might have already gone over it, but or like skipped it, but I didn't really read it because I'm very tired. But there's like a new set that I remember seeing that was like boosting defense by quite a bit, and I'd assume that's gonna probably be your new Thomas set, at least for whichever side that it was for. And heck, maybe even the new DPS like if we check right now, I mean maybe it'll tell us, right? Okay, yeah, so it still recommends burning here. What about for this? Does it still recommend obsidian, or does it include the new set? Okay, yeah, so it still recommends these. So we'll see in the upcoming days, because you know they might change it. Maybe they just haven't updated for the characters, but you know there'll be more new sets that'll be all right. Sorry for that guys. I just really want to talk about that really quick. I'm head on out. You guys have a good one. Peace and take care, everybody.